Good morning children. Welcome back with the next new session. So in this session we are going to discuss the previous lesson. So far we have already spoke about. So the lesson today we are going to revise is lesson number 13, the Indian Constitution, and lesson number 14, Parliament and Central Government from 8th Standard textbook. Okay, the lessons, the Indian Constitution and Parliament and the Central Government from 8th Standard. Okay, so in this lesson I am just going to give you the quick revision for these two lessons, so that these two lessons are interrelated as well as very important topics in your 8th Standard textbooks. Okay, so let's begin with the Indian Constitution first. Okay, Indian Constitution. Constitution. What Constitution is? We have already discussed that Constitution is a book where a set of rules and regulations are all mentioned for the development of the country, or being a citizen of a country. What are their duties or what are their rights are all mentioned in the book of Constitution, isn't it? Then there are some people who have participated in writing the rules in the book of Constitution. For that also there are elections conducted for the persons like whom they have to be who are the persons who are going to write the rules in the book of Constitution, isn't it? Now, why Constitution is needed? Because so that every person in the country are equal. Okay, there is no inequalities in the country. Everyone are equal before the eyes of law. To have such rules and regulations so that the country will go in a smooth way. There will be no problems as well as no inequalities, as well as no such clashes comes between the rich and the poor, or maybe the caste and the creed, or about the races. Okay, so this lesson is all about the Indian Constitution. That means whatever are written in the book of Constitution. So let us discuss in detail about it. Firstly, a constitution is a set of rules about how the country should be governed. Yes, firstly the constitution is a set of rules, just as we have started with. A constitution is a set of rules, okay, like how the government has to work. Then the government would be built by general elections based on the principle of universal adult franchise, right to every adult citizen who has completed 18 years of age, irrespective of gender, caste, religion, education or wealth, to vote in elections. Now, why elections are what is the need of elections is when before the independence, that when the India was under the British's hands, that means when India was under the British's rule, what happened? They have ruled us, they have designed the government, but once we have got the independence from them, so we wanted our own Indian government to be formed. For that only we have conducted an elections. Now, when the elections were conducted, the main motive, the main motto or the main intention of conducting the elections was to clear all the inequalities that already the Britishers have created among us. Clear all the inequalities that the Britishers have once created among us. Okay, and some other inequalities like the gender inequalities, the rich and the poor, okay, the caste and all these things are to take over all these inequality forms. We have started the system of elections. So it is said that every person should get a chance of voting. Okay, person who has attained 18 years of age should be given a chance to vote. Okay, this is what is known as adult franchise. Then Motilal Nehru and 8 other Indian National Congress leaders drafted a constitution for India in 1928. So along with the first Prime Minister of India, Motilal Nehru, okay, along with him some 8 other people have also participated in writing the books of Constitution in the year of 1928. Okay, then the Constitution was drafted by an assembly of elected representatives called constituent assemblies. Just in the beginning I told you that when there are some people were chosen to write the rules and regulations in the book of Constitution. Now every common person is not eligible to write the rules and regulations. There should be some particular people, only they can write. So all these particular people, for them the elections were conducted, and among them only some people were given a chance to write or to draft the rules and regulations in the book of Constitution. Okay, then elections to the Constituent Assemblies were held in July 1946. So first time the elections were conducted in the year, that means people who can participate in this writing of Constitution rules. So the first elections were conducted in the year of 1946 in the month of July. Then The assembly adopted the constitution. The first meeting of the constituent assemblies was held in December 1946. See, once the people were selected, for them there was a meeting conducted. So in the same year, it was meeting conducted in the year of 1946. Okay, so elections were happened in July and the meeting was held in December. Then the assembly adopted the constitution constitution on 26th of November 1949, but it came into effect from 26th of January 1950. Okay, so constitution, book of constitution was all finished, preparing all set of rules and regulations were finished by 26th of November 1949, but the book was released, or the book was came into force. That means all the rules and regulations started to be followed from the time of 26th of January 1950, that is our Republic Day. Then a drafting committee chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar prepared a drafting constitution for the discussion. Yes, we all know Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So he is the chairman of the drafting committee. So he is the person who he was one of the person among the people who have written the rules and regulations in the book of constitution. Then the preamble of the Indian Constitution is a short statement of its basic principles and objectives. Yes, I have explained in detail about the key terms what are written in preamble. Okay, like that is justice, sovereign, republic, inequality, fraternity. Okay, all these terms are used in the preamble of Indian Constitution. That means like liberty, freedom, what it is, all these things are written in a short statement known as preamble of Indian Constitution. Okay, it's a short note of some keywords like liberty, fraternity, all these things are written there. Okay, so all these if you just don't remember these like these keywords, once again just have a look to the previous video so that you can get back to it. Otherwise, please read the textbook once. Okay, so that is the preamble of Indian Constitution which was written in the Constitution book. Then the directive principles of the state has laid down specific tasks for the Indian government. There are some direct principles like adult franchise, right to vote, okay, right to child education. So all these are the rights which have directly every person has to be followed. Every government should follow. Every government should allow the education for all the people in the country. Okay, then the parliament consisting of representatives of the people makes laws which are implemented by the government. The parliament consisting of representatives of people makes which are implemented by the government. So parliament, whatever they make the rules and regulations, they have to be followed by the people who are sitting in the parliament as well. Okay, so people who are sitting in the parliament, they are the people representing the common people. For example, parliament is a house where both the houses of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha sit, isn't it? Now Lok Sabha are the people whom we choose, that we common people, we go and put and vote for that particular person, and that particular person, if he wins, he or she is going to be sitting in the seat of Lok Sabha. Okay, whereas about Rajya Sabha, some indirect people, indirect elections are conducted. So we have discussed about the elections also, isn't it? Then our country follows a federal system. Federal system means functions are divided between the central government and the state government. Yes, there are some functions. Functions means nothing but the work. There are some functions which especially the central government should do. There are some functions which particularly state government has to look after. Okay, so boundaries, borders of the state is under the hands of central government. Whereas when it comes to state government, state borders as well as transport borders of the particular state, okay, all these will be under the state government. Then, so every government is divided like that. Then the central parliament has two houses, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Sorry, the central government has the parliament has two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so here the members of the Lok Sabha is elected by all the people of India. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the state assemblies. As I told that Lok Sabha elections are direct elections and Rajya Sabha elections are indirect elections. Okay, I hope you have all understood lesson number 13, the Indian Constitution points very well. Okay, now we shall discuss lesson number 14, Parliament and Central Government. So now we are going to discuss the next lesson, that is lesson number 14, Parliament and the Central Government. I hope you understood lesson number 13, Indian Constitution. So let's begin with the points of lesson number 14, Parliament and Central Government. Firstly, An elections commission was set up to conduct the elections in a free and fair manner. So we understood what is the importance of conducting elections for the country. So once it is conducted, there is someone or the other has to take the responsibility of conducting the elections, isn't it? For that only election commission was set up. So in the lesson I have told previously that election commission was set up so that they can take in responsibility of how many political parties are participating, then how many common people are participating, how many people are going to vote for the first time. So all these things, they have all the details of the elections with them. Then along with that, their work is to also give away the symbol, that means the party symbol, to the particular person. Next, when the dates were on and announced for the when the elections has to be conducted, before the election date only the rallies or going around different houses, like surveying or going around different houses for rallies and all, has to be also decided by the election commission only. Then once the date is all fixed, that so and so date is going to be a day of voting, in that particular day they have to this election commission specifies that no more rallies and no more going out to every house for surveying. Okay, then so all these things are only done so that the elections will be done in a free and fair manner, without any cheating, without any bribing, or without any terrorizing people, isn't it? So that is the reason why election commission was set up to conduct an elections in the country. Then on the central list, subjects laws can be made only by the parliament. Now in the lesson itself we have discussed about three lists. One is central list, state list, and the concurrent list. Central list, state list, and the concurrent list. So whatever matters, whatever the laws, whatever are there related to the state, like to whether the central, so all the rules that has to be, all the decisions or whatever the rules are framed, that has to be taken care, or that has to be followed by the central government only. For example, army people who are armies who are just looking after, or who are just protecting our boundaries. Okay, so that comes under central government. Then what about the state government? The state within the state boundaries, whatever comes will be under their control. Then the concurrent list means both the state and the central together mixes the this concurrent list. Then in this also, when if any decision has to be taken, in this also, when the state list and the state and the central list, when these two people have a confusion of what decisions to be taken, the final decision will be in the hands of central government only. That means the centralist people, whatever they say, that has to be followed. If any decision, if there is a contradiction means if there is a clash, or if there is no clarity about what decision to be followed, then the decision has to be followed by the central list only. Understood? Then the MLAs of all the states and the members of both the houses of the parliament choose the President of India. Yes, in the lesson I told that all the MLAs from all the states, as well as the members of both the houses of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, choose the President of India. Then the Vice President of India, how he is chosen is, all the people who are sitting in the houses of house in the parliament, these two houses will choose the Vice President. Okay, MLAs plus number of people sitting in the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, will choose the President of India. Then House of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, these two houses, people will choose the person known as Vice President. Then the President's, what is the role of President is, whatever the decision has to be taken for the country, or whatever the work has to be done in the country, the statement or whatever document is, it has to be signed by the President of India. Without his signature, no law will be passed in the country. Understood? Then in the absence of the President, the next person, the Vice President, will be the next person who will be looking after the work of the President, that too when the President is absent. Okay, then the government which rules the country implements the laws made by the parliament and development and welfare. Now see, when we have spoken to the lesson that there are three organs in the government. They are, first is legislature, next is judiciary, and finally it is third one is executive. Legislature, judiciary, and executive. Okay, legislature, L for legislature and L for laws. If you remember these terms, I have told in the lesson. L for legislature, L for laws. So what happens there? Okay, so here they make or they prepare the laws or rules for the country. Now, when they make laws or rules for the country, that in return should give some or the other welfare for the people who are living in the country, isn't it? Not just a name of simply making rules and regulations. That should, in return, that should give any kind of a benefit, isn't it? Then, laws and regulations made by the legislature. So, L for laws and L for legislature. Then second one, judiciary. So what is the work of judiciary? Judiciary's work is to take the judgment. Judiciary work is to take the judgment or give the judgment. Now in the court, we know that in the center of the court, the person known as judge settle downs. So he is the person who is going to listen to the problems of both the sides of the people, and finally he is the person who is going to give the judgment depending on the laws that are made by the legislature. Depending on the laws that are made by the legislature. So once the laws are prepared, so he has to give the judgment depending on those laws. So J for judiciary and J for judgment. J for judiciary and J for judgment. And the last one is executive. Executive means what is? To follow the rules and regulations. To follow the rules and regulations. Implementing the rules and regulations. That means they have to follow whatever the laws are made in the country. Those laws have to be followed. Now, for example, in our school we have certain rules and regulations, isn't it? So those has to be followed by every student in the school, as well as the teachers have to follow them. That if it is followed properly, then only the school work can go in a smooth way, isn't it? If there is if students as well as teachers are not following the rules, what is going to happen? Some problems will be occurred every time. Okay, there will be problems all the time. So to avoid such things, the rules and regulations has to be followed. Okay, then the cabinet functions as the executive wing of the government. Now what are cabinet functions? Now cabinet means every government has divided different sections. For example, transport section, agriculture, okay, agriculture department, education department, transport department, infrastructure department, hospitals, then whatnot, we have different things, technology, IT, okay, we have different sections in our country. So every section has their own particular rules and regulations that they have to follow. For example, right to education, which comes under education department. Right to vote or adult franchisation will come under one department. For supplying of food will come under one department. Okay, so this much of crop has to be grown in one particular year, one will come under agriculture department. So there are different departments were prepared so that they they can look after their own particular department, as well as they can follow all the rules and regulations in their particular department. Okay, then in the year of 2009, the Parliament passed the Right of Child to Free and Compulsory Education Act. In the year of 2009, act was made that compulsory every child should give free education. At least the basic education should be given free, and that too free and compulsory education for the children. Then Parliament also approves the income and expenditure of the government. So whatever the expenditure, here expenditure means what? Providing transport facilities, that means laying of roads, laying of bridges. Okay, so all these are expenditure to the government, isn't it? So the government should accept whatever the income they are getting. Income means here they are collecting taxes from the common people. So whatever the income as well as whatever the expenditure they are doing, they have to accept that. That is what they discuss in the budget session. If you have seen the Parliament in the Lok Sabha TV, you will see that this Parliament session, how when they conduct the budget session, what they discuss, what are the like expenditure in the year, what they are going to spend for more in this year. Okay, how they are going to collect the amount, or that means the source of income, how they are going to get. All these things were discussed in the House of Parliament, that is the budget session. Then there are two houses in the Parliament. We all know that there are Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The members of Lok Sabha are directly elected, the members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected. Okay, then the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years, okay, whereas the term of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So we all know that elections are conducted once every 5 years. So Lok Sabha people every 5 years their places will be changed. Now the term of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So in every year, 1/3 of its member gets retired and next new people get a chance there. Every year, 1/3 of the people of Rajya Sabha leave the seats and next people get a chance to have a seat in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, Rajya Sabha term is 6 years, Lok Sabha term is 5 years. Okay, then the number of people in the Lok Sabha is 545. The number of people in the Rajya Sabha is 250 members. Okay, then whenever it comes to the decision of money matter decisions in the country, okay, usually whatever decisions taken in the parliament, both the houses sit together and they take the decision. But when it comes to money decisions, if there is any contradiction or if there is any clash among that, the Lok Sabha, as there are number of people as well as these people are selected by the common people, that means directly they are selected. So these people power, they have more power and they can give their final decision, where the Rajya Sabha don't have that power with them. Okay, then so 18 years of age, every person, every citizen who has completed 18 years of age should be given an opportunity to participate in the voting. Okay, so children, this is all about the lesson number 14, Parliament and the central government. I hope you have understood lesson number 13, the Indian Constitution and Parliament and central government very well, because these two important lessons are very much important in your 8th standard textbook, because these two lessons have a connection for your next standards also. Okay, I hope you have all understood this session, revision sessions very well. We'll meet up in the next upcoming class with the next new lesson. Okay, for any more doubts and queries, please ask us immediately. We'll meet up in the next upcoming class. Till then, bye children. Thank you. Have a nice day.